Good afternoon and welcome to Mike and the Hoss on Wolfeboro Community Television. I'm Mike Dene.
And I'm Charlie Hossack.
Today's show, Charlie, we're going to talk about the Red Sox.
Right on.
The Celtics draft. Big night last night for the
Huge
Celtics. And some NBA shuffling, which is, we could do a couple shows just on NBA shuffling. Touching on the youth baseball brawl, too, that happened this week. And we have some David Ortiz news. We touched on it last week, and that's getting more interesting.
It is getting interesting.
So Mike and the Hoss investigative reporting is going to get involved with this, I think.
Yes.
But before we start, we want to let everybody know that July 4th parade is coming.
It is. And there are going to be some special guests at the July 4th parade.
So Mike and the Hoss are going to be broadcasting live from the parade for the whole parade. We're going to be doing our show while we're talking about the parade. Hopefully we're going to have a few guests that are going to be there.
That'd be great.
William and Caden from Next Week in Wolfeboro are also going to be there, and they're going to be walking around interviewing people, so it'll be a chance to get on television. And
and we'd love for you guys just to come by, our fans, just come by and visit, say hello, maybe have an ice water, and hopefully it'll be nice and warm. The heat hasn't arrived yet. It's the first day of summer.
No, but that day's going to be really hot.
Definitely. Yeah.
And hopefully we're going to be able to see you guys. And we're going to be broadcasting live on Channel 25. I know we're usually on Channel 26, but for that day we're going to be on Channel 25. So, hopefully you guys can tune in or at least stop by and see us.
We look forward to seeing everybody.
All right. So we're going to be right on Main Street, and
right by the water, right by the bridge.
Oh, maybe we'll get maybe a little cooler there too.
Oh, that'll be nice. We'll get a little lake breeze.
Yes.
All right. So come down and see us.
All right. Sounds great. All right. Let's get to the show.
All right. Celtics.
You take it.
All right. Celtics. So did you watch the draft, or at least the Celtics part, or did you watch the whole draft?
I was in and out of the draft. I actually spent a little bit more time NBC Boston watching the Celtics part of it.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to see the first pick. Everyone in the world knew it was Zion. But I did want to see it. It was exciting. And then I tuned out for a while, and then I got back, obviously, when it was time for the Celtics.
Speaking of Zion, real quick, do you know that he was being sued for $100 million?
For what?
Because he switched agents right after he declared for the draft.
Okay.
He switched agents, and so
that other agent is...
The agent that he dumped, is suing him for $100 million, and they filed the suit right after he was drafted number one.
No kidding.
Yes.
That'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
But kind of a damper on his night, I think.
Yeah, $100 million. So Celtics. So it was an interesting night. The first pick, they got Romeo Langford from Indiana. He's a shooting guard, 6'6". Interesting thing about him, he had an injured thumb last season. As far as a player, did a little bit of research, and obviously they shared this last night. He struggles shooting the NBA three-pointer. He is a good ball handler, and I think one of the most important things is he consistently drives to the hoop, so he's fouled frequently, and he's an excellent free throw shooter. That being said, do the Celtics currently have a shooting guard? Like, was that a good draft pick? I mean, what are your thoughts about picking him up?
I mean, Kyrie Irving is not out of town yet.
No. But I mean, kind of the writing's on the wall.
The writing's on the wall, but the trade for Kyrie Irving has set the Celtics back.
Oh, for Anthony Davis.
No, just in general. Just I mean,
I see what you're saying.
They went in the direction to try and build around Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
That obviously did not work out, or has not worked out.
It hasn't.
And so now they're looking for shooting guards. They're drafting from their number one pick was the 14th pick.
Yes.
And we know in the NBA, after 5 or 6, it's potluck.
Yeah.
It really is.
Kawhi Leonard was, 15th round?
15th round?
I mean, excuse me, 15th pick, not 15th round.
No, but
there are 15 rounds.
Right.
15th pick.
But they got lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, they got lucky that.
Sure.
I mean, if they would have known Kawhi was going to be Kawhi, then he would have been gone.
Obviously.
One or two.
That's why it's a draft and a gamble, and you don't know.
It just seems to be much more. After the first few picks in the NBA, it seems to be much more of a gamble.
Sure.
Whereas in the NFL, usually your first rounders, generally are going to be starters.
Make an impact. Yeah.
Baseball, generally the same thing. Same thing with hockey. NBA it's that top 2 or 3, and then after that, it seems to be the 14th pick. Romeo Langford could be awesome.
Could be, absolutely.
He could be awesome. Grant Williams, big time defender.
Yep.
They got him with the 22nd.
Yeah, and that was
22nd pick.
Yeah. So we should probably talk a little bit about that because they traded Aaron Baines last night.
Yes.
So we don't have the Celtics currently don't really have a center.
No.
So Aaron Baines is gone. and he was traded to Phoenix, and then the Suns via the Bucks, the Celtics ended up with a first-round pick. So they're positioning themselves.
But it's the Bucks' first-round pick, right?
Yeah, but it's still what, seventh? It'll be the 7th pick, right? Because they have it's a secured pick
For next year?
Yeah, this is for next year.
Yeah, but they don't have a...
They're going to have next year. They're going to have 2 first-round. The Celtics are going to have 2 first-round picks.
But they don't know where those picks are going to land yet, do they?
Yeah, because they.
Isn't it based on how they're going to finish this year coming up?
No, I had read that it's definitely it's top 7 because it's a secured pick.
Okay,
That's what it was.
all right. I'm confused a little bit, but I'll get unconfused after.
Yeah, we'll get unconfused.
I saw it was a Bucks pick, and I said, "Geez, the Bucks are the good chance that they're going to be in the finals."
Well, the
next
Bucks
year.
are a good team, absolutely.
And so that means it's going to be the 30th pick or 31st pick, if that were the case. I don't know. I mean, I'm not as familiar with how the NBA works. They do a few different things, especially around the lottery.
Sure.
But you're right. They don't have a center. What's kind of surprising to me is the lack of salary cap space the Celtics have. I mean,
Yeah.
Horford's,
Well, they freed up what, $5 million with get rid of Baines.
So, if they had like $26 million to sign Horford, to sign Baines,
Yeah.
and all these guys, and so
Yeah.
they're going to end up around, let's call it $30 million for salary cap relief. And I'm trying to look at their roster and say, who do they have that's a big money guy at this point?
Right.
Marcus Smart is like a $6 million player.
Yeah. Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward's, I forget about Gordon Hayward.
Gordon
He's
Hayward.
30. He's $30 million,
Yeah.
which is tough. I don't know. I mean, I guess we should probably start talking about the direction that the Celtics are going and the long-term outlook for them at this point. I had tweeted the other night, it's kind of depressing coming off of this year because there was so much hype about assets, and they made all these trades and all these
Right.
picks. They had ones here and ones there, and it's gone.
Yeah.
They're
It
gone,
is.
and they don't have anything to show for it.
No, they don't. But do you think? All right, so you've got the picks, and let's just mention the other 2. Carson Edwards from Purdue. He's 6 feet. He's a guard. He's categorized as prolific scorer coming out of college. He led the Big Ten in scoring, and he has great ball handling skills. So that's another point guard. And then Tremont Waters, who is a point guard from LSU. He's listed at 5'10", so he's our height. High basketball IQ.
I'm 5'11". I just had my physical, so
Okay,
do not sell me
5'11".
short, please.
I'm sorry. So you're actually taller than Tremont Waters.
All right.
You guys should maybe play one-on-one. That would be exciting.
It would be close.
But he's from LSU, like I said, high basketball IQ, and he can hit the NBA 3. That being said, if you look at the list that they drafted, they've got 3 guards and a forward, and 2 of the guards are not very big for NBA standards.
Does it seem like Isaiah Thomas Part 2? 5'10"?
Yes.
And
I mean, yeah.
and Isaiah Thomas was great for scoring, but he was a liability defensively.
Yeah. I mean, there was Tremont Waters weighs 175 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine him going against the Greek Freak or entering the lane?
No.
I would say clear of the lane.
No,
I don't
know.
I don't. I mean, you still got Brown, you still got Tatum, you got Hayward, you got Smart. Do you sign Terry Rozier? I mean, I think if you have build around those 5 or 6, I still think the Celtics are playoff contenders. I mean, I don't think they still. Once again, they're not going to be able to push it to the NBA Finals.
I think it's just the whole thing. For the last 6 years, I'm going to say this again.
Yeah.
This day was coming, but it was supposed to be the opposite. That they were, one's from L.A., one's from here.
Right.
Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant's coming to town.
Sure.
Davis is coming
Yeah.
to town. I mean,
Right.
everybody was coming to town. Everybody wanted to come because they had the assets, and they're gone.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how that happened. And I'm going to put it on, basically one person. Kyrie Irving kind of, he
Derailed all these
did,
plans.
because they got rid of some of those picks by going after Kyrie.
You know who we're not talking about? Al Horford. So as I was writing into the show, I heard that through the sources that they said that Al Horford was offered a 4-year deal to stay with the Celtics for good money.
4 years for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I thought they were capping at 3.
Nope. This was what is it? Michelle Malkin? Is that?
Yeah.
She had said that 4 years, and he was offered good money, and he left it on the table and refused it.
And
so why would Al Horford do that?
Because he probably sees the Celtics don't have a really good chance to. I mean, I agree with you. I think they're probably going to be a playoff team. Tatum and Brown are legit.
Sure.
If Gordon Hayward can get back to 90% to what he was,
right?
Doesn't have to 100. I mean, he's a max player for a reason, and because he has those max abilities or had those max abilities. So if he can get back there, they're going to be okay. But they're just not going to. They're not going to beat Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And they're certainly not going to beat any teams out west.
Right. And Marcus Smart, I think he now becomes the heart and soul.
He wants to be the point guard
of the Celtics. Wow.
He wants to. He says.
What do you do though if you sign Terry Rozier?
I don't. I mean, based on who they drafted, I don't think they have any intention of signing Terry Rozier. They got 3 guards.
Yeah, yes, they do.
I mean, I think
they might have a really good Red Claws team.
They might,
based on this. So I don't know, Mike. I don't know what's going to happen if. I mean, are any of these trade bait? I don't know. I don't know enough about the NBA or basketball to say they're trade bait, but on paper, I don't think so.
Do they have enough? Are they in a go-for-it stage, or are they in a rebuilding stage now?
Well, I would say this is a rebuilding stage. This doesn't appear to be a go-for-it stage.
No, I don't think they have any. I don't think they have anything to go for it with.
Yeah.
And
this is one of these teams next year that, obviously I'm excited to watch them play, but I'm hoping that, on paper they don't look great, and maybe they'll overachieve and excite us and get some wins.
And I think that's where my hope is, because when Irving went down and Hayford went down, not this past year, but the year before, Tatum and Brown were so much fun to watch, and Rozier was fun to watch, and they gelled and they worked together, and they were running Brad Stevens' offense, and it was a good team to watch. I think the best bet for a Celtics fan is to hope and keep your fingers crossed that Tatum is going to become the player that he was.
Sure.
And Brown's going to meet his potential.
Right.
Because there's 2 potential all-star players. And again, if Hayward, can get his act together and they can find that point guard that can distribute the ball as needed, then there probably is hope. Robert Williams, his name popped up a little bit. The Time Lord, they call him, because he never showed up on time for anything. They call him the Time Lord. But his high-end talent is it's really good. He just hasn't put it together.
Right. We forgot. We didn't mention Marcus Morris either. As far as
I don't think he's signed yet.
No. So he's also. But one thing about the Celtics, though, Mike, I think the Celtics, regardless of what they do, when they step on the court next season, I think they're going to be a more likable team. This team was, and although I was, pro Celtics all through, I think you had mentioned a few times they were a hard team to like.
Yep.
I totally agree with that now that the season is over. But
their owner said it.
Yeah.
The owner, Wick, said it. He said this was a tough team to like at times.
So I think they've got a team that we can like again.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. And I would love to see them, compete and be competitive. But I think right now they need to get liked again. Yeah. They need to get liked. So, all right, let's shift gears.
All right.
Red Sox.
All right.
The Red Sox have 7-3 in their last 10 games. 2 out of 3 versus the Twins, which is the best team in the league. As far as they're playing. But they were 6.5 back last week. Now they're 7 back.
Yeah, now they're 7 back. The Rays have gone on a little bit of a skid.
Yep.
So the Red Sox are kind of closing that gap with the Rays. But the Yankees over the past 10 went 7-3, and obviously the same as the Red Sox.
And the Sox didn't play last night, and that was the half a game difference.
Yeah.
The needle seems to be pointing up for the Red Sox. It was encouraging to see what they did in Minnesota. Even that 17-inning game, they had chances to win that game.
They did. They left a lot of men stranded.
The pitching seemed to come together. Porcello pitched really well. I don't know who pitched on the 17-inning game. Who started that one? I'm not really sure who started that game. And then Erod picked up the bullpen yesterday, the day before yesterday. By going, 7 or 8 innings.
Yeah, and pitched well.
And kept them into the game, and then the offense took over.
Yeah.
We had talked about a complementary baseball. Can can the hitting and the pitching happen around the same time?
Right.
And it seems to be starting to happen around the same time, where one is picking up the other and so on. You know, they only scored 2 runs on the first game against the Twins, but the pitching, Purcell was dominant.
Yeah.
And the bullpen held it together.
I said to you the other day at the park that I thought that by All-Star break, the Red Sox are only a few games back. They're going to be in second place, you know, chasing the Yankees, and I think they're positioning themselves well for the second half of the season, that they're going to make a run. And you had mentioned before, the Yankees are getting healthy, and so their star players are coming back, and the guys that are already on the Yankees that are playing, they're playing really well.
Yep.
So are the Yankees going to be able to continue with, you know, these you know, obviously phenomenal players that have been on injured reserve?
I like the Red Sox chances of staying in it, because I don't think the Yankees are going to keep up the pace that they're playing.
I agree.
I think that they're going to have a downturn, and it's probably going to be when those stars come back. They're going to be rusty and so on.
Yeah.
I like the Red Sox position right now. I like how they're playing. I think the fact that they're 6 games above 500 is a good start. They got to keep winning though, and they're home this weekend.
Tonight's sale day,
and
so sale they play in Toronto, so they started tonight. So
these should be these should be, but we've said that before this year.
We have said that before.
When they should have won, they don't win, and this is a game that they should win.
Yeah, this weekend.
Sale pitching tonight, coming off a good series, a day rest.
Yeah.
They should.
They're home.
They won. They swept Baltimore last weekend.
Yeah.
They should have swept Baltimore.
Yeah.
That was one of the first. I don't know if they've had more than 1 or 2 sweeps this year.
Right.
Last year they were sweeping everybody.
Absolutely.
It's just different, and every year's a little bit different. But they seem to be playing better. Keep our fingers crossed on them. Speaking of Red Sox,
Sure.
there was a retired Red Sox that was in the news an awful lot this week.
I know.
And Mike and the Haas investigative reporting. We were going to head down to the Dominican.
Yeah, we would have.
look into it.
Timothy, next time you need to send us down to the Dominican.
We were going to get involved with it, but they said that stay home.
Yeah, they asked us. Yeah, stay back here to do our investigative reporting from Wolfeboro.
The drama of Big Papi and what is happening. So let me ask you, Charlie, because we have not talked about it.
We haven't.
Was Ortiz the target?
I'm gonna yes, he was the target, and they're trying to say that he was not the target, and then showing the person that is the target, and there aren't many similarities, other than they might both be Dominican.
Well, and they're calling it mistaken identity.
Yeah,
I mean, he is like the Grand Poobah of the Dominican Republic.
Exactly.
Everybody knows.
If David Ortiz is in a restaurant, if he's in a bar, you know exactly where he is, what he looks like, who he is.
He's like one step short of being on the flag.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody knows who David Ortiz is, and to a mistaken
identity. Yeah.
And there's obviously a lot of fishy things going on in the Dominican as far as this whole investigation.
Right.
And they showed the video of the
incident
over and over again, and one of the people they arrested was actually besides the shooter, was in the bar, and he finished his drink.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
He finished his drink, and it was like, well, if it was the wrong guy, when he stood up and said, no, that's not him, he's over there, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just such a crazy story. I don't know. I mean,
and part of me too is obviously we love David Ortiz. And you just don't, you can't, first of all, obviously I'm glad he's okay. I know that he's moving his family back here. But at the same time, I don't want anything to come out that is going to taint his image. That's my biggest fear is like, oh my gosh, was he involved with something that we don't want to talk about? One
of the theories is the reason why the Dominican authorities are saying the mistaken identity is to protect Ortiz.
Sure.
From whatever he was involved with.
Right.
So where there's smoke, there's always fire. And, if he was involved with something, it's probably going to come out. I mean, I hope, I guess you hope it's mistaking identity. I mean,
obviously that's
bizarre.
What you're hoping for. Yeah.
But just...
I could see that happening with us, mistaken identity. Mike and the Haas. It'd be really difficult to pick us.
I hope I don't get caught up in anything like that, because it's scary stuff.
It is. Plus, I know we had mentioned before too, even with the Dominican Republic, just the issues that they're having with the resorts, and it's kind of tainting what is a peaceful, tropical, beautiful island. And it's and now all this stuff is happening, and it's going to kill tourism down there, which is their.
Oh my God,
I mean, that's how they make their money.
We were down there a couple summers ago, and we had a nice trip and everything like that.
Yeah.
We left the resort. We went on a deep sea fishing trip. We left the resort, and I couldn't get back to the resort fast enough.
Yeah.
It's a little scary down there, and there's some like lawlessness, going on. And
yeah.
I mean, I think we see this. It doesn't surprise me that Ortiz certainly has the means to stay here.
Right.
That he's not. He's going to pick up his family and
get him
get
here
out of there.
too.
But that's a big strike against the Dominican because he is as big of a celebrity. He and Pedro,
right,
are as big a celebrity in the Dominican as there has ever been in the baseball world, and we know how important baseball is to them down there. So,
right. Well, hopefully they'll figure this out, but
and hopefully everybody comes out of it okay, including Ortiz. Besides his health, but his reputation, like you said, stays intact. I have him on my Mount Rushmore, so
I know. I mean, you might have to move the Mount Rushmore to the Dominican Republic. So, but we'll see. I mean, I'm just obviously it looks like health-wise he's doing better and he's on the road to recovery. And then it's interesting. I don't know the answer to this, Mike, but is the U.S. involved at all, like that you've heard about, as far as helping with the investigation or any of that? Has the Dominican Republic asked for our assistance?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I know that Mass General and the medical community wanted to get him out of there as fast as possible.
Sure.
They were concerned about the level of care that he was having down there, and they brought him here. And apparently, you saw the police escort that he had from the airport. They brought him Mass General, and they opened him up right away to do some more work on him. So I don't know. I don't know what authority the United States would have.
No, I don't think they would necessarily have any, but sometimes, other foreign countries ask for assistance. So I don't know. I was just wondering
whether
if you heard.
Mistaken identity or not.
I keep laughing when you say mistaken identity. It's just sorry. It's just hard. It's hard to mistake Big Papi.
I'll be here all week.
Yeah, it's hard to mistake Big Papi for anyone else.
Yes, I agree, especially there.
Yeah.
It just seems to have the group that was responsible seems to be related to some drug kingpins and that world.
Sure.
And so in that respect, you do hope it's mistaken identity, because if it's not, then who knows? And that's Hanley Ramirez got caught up in a little bit of that stuff too before.
Right. And he's not playing baseball anymore.
No.
So
scary stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how many people saw this online or in the news. It was all over. Covered quite a bit about the youth baseball brawl.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch too.
Yeah. It was just outside of Denver, Colorado.
It got me thinking about, because you and I are heavily involved with our kids' sports and baseball especially, and so we've seen not necessarily brawls or anything like that, but we've seen people that have been out of control or missing the mark as far as what their role is.
Right. We've definitely seen arguments and
And so I guess that brings up the debate about parents and youth sports.
Right.
And are parents? I mean, here was the question of the day: are parents ruining youth sports?
Sure. And just getting back to the brawl quickly that happened. I mean, that was awful because there were 7-year-olds playing baseball.
7. And
the umpire was a 13-year-old kid.
Yes.
And apparently he made a call that someone disagreed with.
Yep.
And then the parents got involved. And it was terrible. I mean, there were sucker punches. It was ugly.
And it wasn't just a couple people involved.
Oh,
there was like 25, 30 people that were
a brawl.
Throwing punches.
Yeah, I mean, a little kids game, and these little 7-year-olds like running off the field.
Watching their parents and
uncles
one person
and friends
got really hurt.
Yeah.
I just
So parents. I mean, the question is, are parents ruining youth sports? Well, we've talked before about how few umpires there are. We've talked about how people don't want to get into refereeing.
The number one reason is
parents, adults. Yeah. It's not the coaches. It's the parents. It's the fans. and the things that they're saying. A lot of parents are taking the point of view that they're sitting at a Red Sox game or a Patriots game and they're screaming and hollering at the umpire because they disagree with this or the referee and they don't like that call, and they're bringing that with them to little kid baseball, football, hockey, whatever game it is, and they're exerting that same what they perceive influence on these umpires and referees. You say it to me all the time, Mike. If these umpires and referees were the best in the business, they would be in professional sports. There's a you always say there's a reason why they're umpiring middle school baseball. There's a reason why they're refereeing high school football and not college or the NFL.
And it's the same reason that we're coaching
absolutely
the sports, because if we were all that, then we would be.
I'd be in the NFL and you'd be in the MLB. And of course.
So, and I guess that's the message that has to be out there, that everybody needs to understand their role.
Right.
And that the role is that they're there for the kids, that give the kids an experience to, and however you believe in sports, being part of a team, learning to work through adversity, enjoying success, understanding how to lose.
Yes.
But it's the parents that seem to be having the problem with understanding how to lose. Or when a call goes against you, it's not the end of the world. Mistakes are going to be made. Mistakes are going to be made in the game that we're going to tonight, and they're going to be made in the games that we have on Sunday.
Yep.
And it's going to be up to us to act like the adults in the room and say, okay, for the kids' purpose, says, that was a mistake. We need to move on now.
Yeah.
You need to deal with that. It's not going to be the only mistake that strikes against you in life. Right. We need to move on, and I think that that's the message that's not being sent. And obviously, it wasn't in Colorado, where 7-year-olds, which is just hard to fathom. Yeah. I mean, it would be hard to fathom if it was high school kids.
Absolutely.
But
for this
these
to happen, little kids, first or second year ever playing the game.
And we've seen the level of baseball at 7. What possible call could have been made that would have created this kind of environment?
And think, how could you not think? It's a 13-year-old kid making the call. So you're getting upset by a decision made by a child.
By a child who's, is basically going to get paid a Coke and a hot dog after the game.
Absolutely.
It's terrible, and I don't see it changing, unfortunately, because what's going to change it? We in all of our organizations, there's all kinds of code of ethics and rules and stuff like that, but unless it's really enforced, where if parents get out of line or coaches get out of line, they're done. You are no longer allowed to be here.
Right.
And
it's interesting because it seems that every parent thinks, obviously you put on your kid is the greatest and the best, but every parent, it's interesting, I don't mean to say it by every parent, but a lot of parents think that at every game, whether it's a youth game, a middle school game, a high school game, that there's some kind of professional scout there that are waiting to scoop up their kid and to see them do their best and hand them college scholarships and promises that they're going to be this and that, and that's not true. We don't. There isn't. We do a lot of coaching. There isn't a single scout at any of the games that we coach.
I put an AAU in the notes because that's how AAU are selling their programs, because they're for-profit programs.
Sure.
With the promise that their kids are going to get looked at and drafted and whatnot, and so they put parents now, instead of paying $50 for their kids to play local Cal Ripken baseball, are paying $2,000, and so they've got so much more stake in the game that every call that doesn't go their way, the parents are looking at it as
it's a strike against my kid's future opportunities.
He's not going to get the opportunity. He's not going to go pro. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, and so on.
Sure.
And
and I think it's taken the fun away of the game for the kids. I mean, kids play baseball, kids play football, pick any sport to have fun. Like that's like the number one reason you do this, because you want to enjoy it, have fun, and be with your friends. And when your parents or coaches are barking all the time at the umpires and creating an atmosphere of negativity, it doesn't become fun anymore.
Do you think it's reasonable, and we put teams together, do you think it's reasonable that teams are put together based on parents' behavior?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that.
I mean,
it's unfortunate for the kids.
Yeah.
But if a parent doesn't understand where we are, that it is a 14U game, a 12U game, a 7U game, and that there are not any scouts in the stands, real quickly, you mentioned the scout thing. We played a couple years ago. The Bruins alumni came to town. I'm sure some people remember that.
Yeah.
And so we had a team together and to play against the Bruins alumni. And whoever their coach was, and it was Middleton, it was all those guys that came. But their coach comes into our locker room and said, "Look, guys, this is to us. Nobody's getting an NHL contract out of this thing.
Yeah.
Take it easy out there." And I think that's the message that needs to come. But you got to get back to having fun.
Yeah.
That there's not, like you said, there are not scouts at these games.
Right.
But now every single tournament that gets advertised, it says Division III coaches are going to be there. Division I coaches.
Right.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And there's no more tournaments for just having fun.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right. Well, we're out of time, Mike.
All right, so before we go, we want to remind everybody that on the 4th of July parade, you and I, Charlie, are going to be broadcasting live,
Yes.
And we're hoping to have some guests. And we'll have our table out in the street somewhere. I guess we're going to be in the street.
Yeah, we'll be right out there, and then William and Caden.
Yep, from next week in Wolfeboro.
Yep, they're going to be out there as well, so they'll be kind of out there. If you want to get on TV, you can hook up with them, stop by our table. We'll be right by the bridge.
Yep. And so if you can't make it to the parade, Channel 25, we're going to be broadcasting live, and we're going to be doing our show in with the parade, too.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of downtime in the parade, so we're hopefully going to be describing everything that's coming by, and maybe we'll get some information on that stuff.
You know what the best part about the parade is going to be? People are going to finally have an opportunity to meet our producer, Timothy. Because Timothy's going to be there. So even if you don't want to hang out with Mike and the Haas, come out and see Timothy.
He says he's behind the glass kind of
Yeah.
guy. I don't know what glass is going to be out there.
I don't know about that.
All right. I guess that's going to be it for us, Charlie. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. So thank you for watching Mike and the Haas on Wolfeboro Community Television. We will talk to you next week, and go Knights.
Yeah, go Knights.